Beautiful people across the globe. How you doing? I'm back again. It's the Major Show that came on Street and Cathedral. Uh, Today's topic is just something everybody's looking forward to. How was a week? Happy Sunday to you. How you doing? My speakers are on point, on time. They were even the one prompting me. You know they are prepared. So Yomi is here. Yomi, the first icon you will see on your phone that looks like a video icon beneath, just click on it. Then request to join this video. I will just accept. Please be aware that you can only use the phone device to join Instagram Live. Yeah. So let's kick on. Let me just pin this topic in the comment section. Let me legends in the making, fam. Legends in the making. Legends. And guys, I respect so much. Hey, Brose. Brose.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing, bro?
I'm alright, bro. How about you?
First of all, I love the fact that you came first. Congratulations. My friend is a superstar.
Thank you.
See, you offend me. All those things when you have for your LinkedIn, GF for about why you not come out add friend to Dimitri. Make me say those enter that. Congratulations, man.
No certification, na illusion, though.
No. Like it's no be illusion. That one I agree. But you know the good thing is I when I saw you on Nation, no, I've invited you before. I saw the news going viral on the Nation, so I'm like, wow, this is more like it's just coincidence, you know. People might think Jimmy timed it very well. He made sure Yomi has blue or what. No, I was like, yeah, Yomi, we are in good talks, man. We've always been in good talks and all. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm so proud of you, bro. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jay,
Thank you, Chief.
Jay, do me one favor. Just click on the first icon beneath your screen and request to join this video. Then I'll just accept. Like you see wait till Latore do the same too. Click on the first icon beneath and request to join this video. Latore writes German Bubulu Enterprises.
What a title.
It can't remind me of waiting for me and buy your top for one thing. Where he they tell his secretaries, Omo, Bubu go and show. Everything we do, no go lose my contract.
Land, we dey sell out. We dey sell out.
Everything that they do, if now only human parts, they sell, but everything. Brother,
what's going on?
How you doing, brother? So, thank you very much for saying yes. I'm going to do the introduction based on punctuality, and I just have one more person to join. But I realized very late that Instagram can only take 3 guests, not 4. I just realized it. But no, test me and the show must go on. And the way we go do, I'm like say, if that my guy don't come online, I'll go let them know. After the introduction, after one person don't stay online, I will make sure say one person go in, come on board. This will be the last time I will invite 4 people at a time. My idea was I wanted 2 for, 2 against. Make me I just enjoy the question. I just throw it up in the head. But now I realize that I couldn't have that. So I'm like, okay, next time I'll watch out for that. So Jay, how you doing, brother?
I'm great. Great to see you, bro.
This is your beard full. I'm like, sorry guys. The time I don't see this guy in my childhood, though. He's a distant cousin to me. So how you doing, brother?
How you doing, man? I do right now. Good to see you. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Welcome.
Always. I go think say, guy, say you don't deny us, me your family don't go in.
No, family first every time.
Well, them Kuti said now about to, so yeah, we
Yeah,
go
you
know.
know, sure.
Yeah. So let me start the introduction with Yomi. Then I'll move to Latore, then I'll move to Jay. So Yomite, first of all, let me say thank you guys for saying yes to this. I do not have I'm someone who I'm influential, I'm powerful just by God's grace, but I don't have my claws around people and say this person is my corner because I've got the person locked down. No, that's not how we do it. It's based on mutual respect. And just the way you guys have respected me, I also have much regard for you as well. Yomi and I, we met at varsity. We didn't study the same course. A couple of things put us together on campus and off campus that we can't talk here. You know, on campus and off campus. But Yomi is someone who has always have a good head over his shoulder. I like him so much. He's a cool-headed guy. He knows what he wants from life. He goes after it. And I love the fact that he didn't settle for mediocrity. And just recently, this week, he won an award, which I'm so proud of him. His name came out from the nation's newspaper. The boy, he raised our flag, even the flag of our varsity, he raised it high for us. And we're like, yeah, so yeah. I'm so the fact that Yomi, what he studied in school, he could navigate through that and find himself in another terrain of IT. It's something that is applaudable, and we know that survival instinct is in every Nigerian. So Yomi is actually the true definition of a Nigerian survivor. So thank you, Yomi, for being my friend. Thank you for being on this platform. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for making us proud as a whole. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Chief. You inspire me too.
Yeah, like I said, the feeling is mutual. The respect is always mutual. Let me move to my brother, Latore Basit. You see this guy, this guy na enigma. When this guy told me, I asked him, what should I put as his work? He said, make I put Jama, Gogolo Enterprises. I'm like, yeah, this define Basit. Basit is that kind of guy who could weather any storm. And when I mean weather any storm, you get some things we're not going to mention for a year, but I wish I mentioned them. I know say Yomi understands. Yeah, Basit and Yomi were actually in the same department back in varsity. But real always recognize real. And like I said, it has always been a mutual feeling of respect and brotherhood between us, amongst us. So Basit has always been that guy, even from campus, we always have that conversation. But you see Basit there, his energy is off the roof. Basit right now. Bro, Jay, don't be surprised. Basit will package this our session, put them for CD, sell them. Make we just say they make money pass on. He's a certified hustler like that. You get I love the fact that Basit also projects towards globalization. He's got a foresight that is not a mediocre, and I can vouch for the fact that the future is bright. So Basit, thank you for being a brother all these years.
Thank you, my bro.
Thank you so much for saying this to us.
Thank you very much.
To my brother, my own Omi. This one are the Ogun Atilewa. I see you work with some of my colleagues. You work with Amida.
Oh yeah.
Amida is my colleague back in Nigeria. I just look. I will see your picture.
Olumide Columbus. He says, do you know Dimeji? I said, I've known Dimeji almost all my life. Saying at your place to do all the day as kids.
Yes, now. Junior are my OG, like way back, childhood. Like before I was even 5 years old, we've been like that, cross carpeting our houses for holidays and everything. It has been my deep, distant cousin. And to find him doing something I'm passionate about in the line of journalism is something that I resonate with, and maximum respect to you. I've seen your energy, not just because you align with superstars, with them Kuti, MI, with the superstars that we have in town in Nigeria, but the fact that you have always been standing for what I see as the voice of activism. You've always been a vibrant voice that we can add to the energy, to the youth energy going on in the country. Maximum respect to you, brother,
Thank you very
and
much.
mad love for you. Thank
Thank
you for saying yes to this, and thank you for all that you do. We see
you.
your work.
Anytime. Thank you very much.
Yeah. The fourth guest on that, AY. Like I said before you came, I didn't know. This is my honest mistake. I didn't know that Instagram could not take 4 guests. I just knew just 5 minutes or 4 minutes. But wait, Thespian, the show must go on. You will come on board. So I said that what we are going to do is that once somebody has his own flow of maybe opening speech, I personally will just drop the person down. The person too, please make sure you stay online. And you just request to join, then I'll add you on top. We'll do it silently like that. Like everybody knows now. So let us manage let us manage this and let us keep the spirit of test plan. Like this show must go on, this must go on. So AY, just give me like 5 minutes. You're going to come on board real soon. I will do your introduction and I will show some questions also to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start. You guys are welcome to Street and Cathedral officially. Street and Cathedral, like it's like it is. You know, it's been going on since last year, and I've got amazing people like you that have been supporting me. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. And maximum respect to you. Today's topic is, let me see if I can accept AY. No, I don't know who is Ayodeji. Okay, AY, if you can request to join this video and I accept, if you come on board, then maybe my analysis was not right. You can still request and I'll accept and see maybe you can come up. But if you can't, then we'll do that plan B. Please request to join up. To join, you see the first icon beneath is like a video icon request. Click on it and request to join this video. I'll just accept. The topic, the illusion of middle class in Nigeria. Well, the topic itself has thrown an argument open. But let us first ask this question. Okay. Plan B is better. I can say plan B. Yeah. Plan B is better. All right. Please just stick online. I'm very sorry. I didn't know. It's an honest mistake. I didn't know. Let us define middle class itself in the context of Nigeria. And what are some key characteristics that you believe should be included in that definition according to your own view? So, Yomi, because of your punctuality, you did want to open the floor for us. How would you define the middle class in the context of Nigeria?
Okay. Please confirm you can hear me.
What?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks. Okay. So the definition of a middle class right now in Nigeria is a fallacy. It doesn't exist, and I'm not here to actually speak by the books or on paper. I'm actually here to tackle the narratives. I think while we were growing up in primary school in social studies, right, they will tell you that we have the social class, whereby there are layers of power or influence or prestige or what have you, and then you have the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. And that is actually very given. But right now, in the current economic condition of Nigeria, not in UK where you are, Dimeji, actually, but in Nigeria, the middle class are like dinosaurs. They used to exist, but now they have gone into
They've gone
extinction.
to extinction.
So, and trust me, that is reality. And I am going to agree with, I think, the Marxist theory about there are 2 types of social class. Either you're rich or you're poor. And they call them the Bolonians or the proletarian. We do not have an upper class, a middle class, and a lower class right now in the country. And over time, what we have seen over the course of 6, 7, 8 years is the fact that the middle class has been shrinked, right, by the economic hardship into a downward mobility. So let me stop with the English. What it means is that they have soaked the middle class, right, so much that everybody is now being pulled into the lower class of the social stratification in our country. And that is because what used to make the middle class no longer exists.
And what will you call that?
Okay, so it will be in terms of educational status or level of income. Right now in Nigeria, you can go as far as having a master's degree and still find it very hard to afford eating rice with fish or even eating rice with egg.
So what have
And you know
changed?
why?
What have changed?
Because the expenses, or let me say the introduction of naira depreciation that has affected our goods and services has caused an inflation in the country that does not meet up with the current earnings of the Nigerian household. So you cannot expect when I am on a salary or income of 200,000 naira in a month and I have to pay house rent of 500,000 naira. And
Slow
then
down.
I also have to.
Slow down. Slow down. Yomi, slow down. Even that
Mhm.
200,000 naira salary, you are one of the fortunate. An average teacher in Nigeria, which is the easiest job to get, teaching job. What is the average salary of a teacher? So let's start from there.
So I know about 3 or 4 years ago, a teacher earns around 50,000 or 60,000 naira.
God bless you. God bless you.
And as a married man who has kids and a wife, I don't know how you are surviving
God bless
on
you.
60,000 naira.
God bless you.
So
So, Yomi,
tell me.
I know this topic is broad. We are still going to delve deep. Let me take that as opening speech. Basit, I want you to
Yes,
jump in.
sir. Can
Jay,
you?
do we still have you? Before Basit, Jay, do we still have you?
It's
Maybe I should
buffering
drop Jay.
over
So,
here.
oh, Jay, are you still here?
It's buffering. His screen is buffering. That means it's not there.
Okay. Then just drop in and we can have AYRK on board. You know what I mean? So we can.
Okay, beautiful. Okay.
Okay. I don't know how to drop him honestly. So let me ask you, Basit,
Yes,
while
sir.
I'm working on that. Basit, let us take it from the trajectory of Yomi's definition. Yomi said there used to be middle class before, but they've gone extinction. You are on floor. Yomi, I will set you guys up. Yomi is one of the fortunates, whether you like it or not. You are the German Gogolowo on the street. Do
Yeah.
we still have middle class? Or is
See,
Yomi saying something like all those guys now that they don't blow when they go to talk for Nedu podcast, like when we say the reality is perfect, is that what Yomi is saying, or is Yomi speaking the reality? So your own definition, let's take it. How do you define the middle class?
for me right now, there's just a large margin. There is actually no middle class because we are all just being dogged. Fact. Doggedity is the definition of almost every Nigerian. And the fact that the population of the youth is larger than the old and the younger is crazy. Now, let's take it from a angle of, let's even leave social stratification. Let's take it from the lower part, that there used to be a time where there is hope for you if you go to school or you learn a skill or you have a trade, that okay, one day it will be better for me. At least if I keep hard at this, there's a light at the end of the tunnel or along the line. Right now, the beaming light, NEPA don't take them. Yes, because if you earn, you cannot afford to live on a salary right now as a Nigerian, or else you go crazy at the end of the day because you'll be in debt. I run a couple of businesses, and at the end of the day, you are spending over 70% of your gross income yearly on production and processes. How do you make profit? Because you're still trying to save, you're trying to live a life out of that 30%, which might not even sum up to be anything at the end of the day. So my point is, I am buttressing what Abayomi is saying. There's actually no middle class, only dogged citizens.
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you. Let me keep this question in as to add it to what you're saying. So, from what you and Yomi have said now, do you now how possible could this is me fast forwarding now? But if you can just chip in, just
Okay.
open that portal. How can
Okay.
someone, because naturally nobody wants to be in the lower class. It's a natural instinct. So people will find their way to the middle class. That was the leverage before. Now that middle class, according to Yomi and you now, has been eliminated, extinct, how can one move from that lower class to the upper, the echelons of the elites in the society?
Well, as Nigeria is, I'm speaking from a point of where I am. It has to do with a whole lot of extreme hard work. Extreme. When I mean extreme, I'm saying you're working your ass off every day. You are meeting people of the higher classes, because trust me, as it is right now, if they are not there and they be like, okay, we have interest in you, let us pull you up, or you have something extremely different from what people have, like you have assumed a position in your place of work or your business or your skill, whereas nobody can tell you no. You're already an authority in your field. Yes, you have to work your way up, 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 up there. So for everybody that is desiring a change or a level up, you have to do something extremely different from the mainstream, which is very, very unlikely these days. Everybody is doing everything differently these days. The internet is there. Everything helps everybody do things differently. So how do you get out of that rat race? It's crazy. So you have to find your way, fight your way.
Fight your way.
This is actually a fight for survival, because trust me, before, okay, they say if you are prompt, if you are this, if you are that, if you are honest, bro, most of us in this youth come from especially early 30s and late 20s or mid 30s, close to 40s. We come from a proper home where our parents are civil servants, and they will beat those morals into you. Either you like it or not, they will beat those things into you. So we have a level of values and standard and morals where we are not compromising, we are only improvising. So if you are encompassing all those inside you and you are disposing good qualities at all times in your business, at work, in your skill, and it's still not working, what's going on?
So log of commodity formation everybody.
There is no the problem we have is there is actually no structure.
No structure.
Yes,
when you say no structure, wait, when you say no structure, it can be culturally. Do you mean governmentally or culturally? Or society?
The first problem we have is we are dumping our cultures into the trash. Yes. We are dumping our etymological cultures into the trash just because of what? Civilization? Why? What's the point? There used to be a time where if you buy a pinta of rice or a can of rice, it's complete. How about now? There's no structure from the government that sees to that. There's no quality control. Even as a personal person, you have you have workers and you don't pay them on time. What is your standard of quality? You go for a job, something you're supposed to do this and do that, you cut it short just to make more profit.
Okay,
what's your standard of quality?
Thank you, Basit. Let me take that as opening speech. Before you come in, Jay, let us do this. To complete this cycle now, if anybody goes off now and Ake comes back, the person won't go off the next time. You just be completing the cycle, you understand? So who wants to go off now? So that
I can go off, I don't mind.
So okay, let's you let's agree.
I can go off.
Okay, Basit, you go
I'll
off
just
now.
be listening.
Okay, Basit,
how do I
you go off now? Let Ake join. So Jay, let me take your own definition now. But I don't want us to be repetitive here. If there's anything you want to touch from what they've said, feel free. So I want us to move from this trajectory right now. So have you also agreed that the middle class is an illusion as we stand right now in Nigeria? Or it seems as if we now have upper middle class, lower middle class. In that middle class, it's not sweet in the middle like Nagamali said. It's not more sweet. There's a sweet in the middle and there's a bitter in the middle. Yeah, jump in, brother.
Let me take it from where you took it from. The trajectory around the Nigerian economy sometimes ununderstandable, and I feel sometimes we make conversation.
Please hold your thought first. 1 second. AY, please you can request to join this video now. I'll just accept. So now go on, Jay.
I think half of the time, we make
Hold on, Jay.
all of this thing.
Hold on, Jay. Because there's a first icon beneath your phone right now. AY. Click on that icon. And you have to be using a phone, not laptop, actually. Instagram only allows the phone device to join live. So the first icon beneath your screen right now is like a video icon. Click on it, then you request to join the video. I'll just accept, and that's it. Will pop up. Okay, continue, brother.
So like I was saying, I said the tragedy around the Nigerian economy, sometimes you can't understand it. And most of us make conversation from our point of our location of residence. If you get what I mean. So half of the time.
So a middle class in Lekki is different from middle class in Ajegunle.
Say that again. I didn't get you.
I said a middle class in Lekki is different from middle class in Ajegunle.
Yes. So my own breakdown is simple. We have the wealthy class. That's the 1% of the 1%, you know, the Dangotes and the Auto Dollars. We have the rich class. The rich class are like our guy here that's on the glasses. The ones that earn in the millions on a monthly basis. You know, there's the rich class, the ones that are top executive, you know, work in big companies. There's the middle class that is divided into two. There's the average middle class and there's a struggling middle class.
Sweet in the middle, bitter in the middle. I was right.
Nigeria have three major big cities, you know, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Lagos. And when we stay in these states, we make points of views because we are in these city centers. So the reality of the guy in Borno State is different from the reality of the guy in Lagos State. So if I give a guy in Borno State,
I get where you're coming from.
If I give a guy in Borno State 100,000 naira, he probably will survive with it for the rest of the month compared to a guy that lives in Lagos or lives in Ikeja. So we have to break this down properly. The average salary of an average Nigerian is between 75,000 naira to 150,000 naira. I stayed around Nigeria, Southwest for a while. I stayed in Osun, in Ibadan. With 100,000 naira, you can get a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom flat. The part of Lagos that I live in, around Yogba, Agege axis, with $1 million naira, you struggle to get a 3-bedroom flat. But if you go to Makurdi in Benue State, you will see. If you go to Borno State, you would see Maiduguri, or even in Abeokuta.
But wait, Junior, slow down. Now, I want to ask you a question, a follow-up question, what you're just saying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be that, I know what you're trying to say, because here too we have such reality. London is quite expensive. The people try to leave outskirts London, blah, blah, blah. You are valid on it. But at the same time, there is a general thing that is accessible to people that are actually, let me say, the dividends of democracy, or the right of people that are paying tax into the economy, like the transportation system is accessible, the road network is okay. They try as much as possible. Actually, there's the reality of what you just said, but they try as much as possible to make some things, you know, available for those people in that middle class, so they don't struggle, like you just said. There's access to credit system, credit score, blah, 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 whatnot. And it seems as if that is not the reality in Nigeria. So now, do you really think it's fair enough to look at it from that content lens of the fact that some people in their state, just because people will actually gravitate towards a state that is, you know, generating income, where the business can thrive, and it is just natural to people, but that is not actually also a way for them to maximize their potentials and profits. What will you say about that as regards in governmental policies and all?
Okay, so you live in the UK. The United Kingdom has 400 years of civilization ahead of Nigeria. The UK civilized everybody, from America to West Africa so there's no comparison really. And what makes it easy for you on that side is because the basics are available. Electricity, there's transportation. So when there's the basics, even if you are suffering, you will not know. But for Nigeria, if you want to enter motor for Ikeja, go maybe Aja, and they call them 2,500 naira, you will struggle to pay sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? So I get where you're coming from when you talk about the fact that, there are cities that government should get some things done. But the reality is that the urban centers, according to research, statistics says that we have over 50%. People move from point A to point B, over 50%. And the AFDB, the bank, that's Akinwumi Adesina's bank, says as of 2023, we had 23.4% of our population living in the middle class. However, the World Bank disagrees with him and says that by 2030, over 40% of the Nigerian economy will be in middle class. So let me give you, for example, the reason why sometimes we believe that there's an illusion of the middle class is because before time, a lot of people are stuck in their cocoon, and we have always lived above our means. So the average Nigerian guy that earns 40K, if you look at it from this angle, how many of our parents could really afford to send us to the schools that they send us to if they were on their salary at that time that we said Nigeria was good? But the reality is staring in our faces now. The most expensive costs in Nigeria should be transportation because of the fuel price. And he talked about the devaluation of the naira, which means that things that you usually buy at expense at a lower rate has gotten higher. But there's really no illusion because there's still a middle class. There's still a middle class in Nigeria. However, that's struggling. A lot of people are in the struggling middle class because you pay extra for what you usually are comfortable to do. So for example, I drive a BMW now. I used to drive a Honda. When I used to drive a Honda, with 20K, I can fuel my tank, full tank. But now, that 20K, if I bought 20K for my BMW, I will carry my car, go work twice. So, which means that my cost has increased astronomically, right? But the guy that stays in Abeokuta, that works in Shagamu, that there's CNG, or that knows that from Kuto to Obada to this is 100 naira, 200 naira. And me that works in Ikeja and lives on the island, our reality is different. There's a middle class, however, we must break it down from one reality to the other. So it's understandable that people are struggling. See, I understand. I did suffer too. Maybe say I get money. I did suffer too.
You dey drive BMW, no suffer. You're suffer. You are not struggling middle class.
Now that's now. But see, I get when people talk about the middle class has eroded totally. We are struggling, but some people have found a way. See, but the truth is that there are more options to make money now than before. So now you're on your phone. Imagine we are on YouTube and we have 1,000 other people making money from this platform. You're making extra income. The people that are in the informal sector that we think don't have money make money. When we were living in Surulere.
But the thing is, that also has another ripple effect because the trajectory of people or the influx of people rushing towards that end as well, neglecting industries that can actually build a nation. Now, like I wouldn't place the blame on the people though, but I'm just saying, like our science and research, what are we doing about it? There are many industries that build a nation that you and I know that people are neglecting it for TikTok, in being influencers and all. I don't blame them. Everybody wants to survive, yeah. But you should understand what I mean. You should understand what I mean.
They are not productive. Nigeria has never been productive. You need to understand that Nigeria has never been productive. After the coup in 1967, 67 to 70, and Obasanjo's first term, Nigeria hasn't done anything production-wise. We don't have factories that function, and that's the truth. We've been living in this. It's a what's the word? An illusion in your words now that we think that we are there yet. The basics to make our society thrive has never been put in place. So you cannot live. It's like you building a 10-story building on a house that has no foundation. People will eventually suffer in the long run. When we were younger, we used to have mechanics that live in Ijoko, Songo, and our property them were working for maybe Lafarge, UBA. They drive expensive cars. Those guys that we thought were poor were building their houses. In 20, 15 years later, when your papa know they work for Lafarge again, when they do for UBA again, he go get one house for Akute or Lambe. He will go build. He go see say the guy where in Tik say they poor, like 20 years ago. All those places are places that were strange to us because we never used to go there. But those guys are landlords. We don't have a system that functions that will make people make money for themselves. And now, see, we can't talk about a middle class without talking about fraud, talking about bets, talking about social.
Wait, slow down. We are still coming to that. Now you've gone deeper, and let me take that as your opening speech. And AY, please resend your request again. I've been trying to send you an invite. It's not pulling through. I don't know why. So thank you very much for that, everybody. You've you've even broadened the topic now. You've opened many doors. We'll go through those doors. We'll close some and we'll walk ourselves through. Now, the second question is this. Before we have AY on board, let me throw this to Yomi. Yomi, now we can say from your own definition, you said middle class has gone to extinction. You can debate it with Jay's submission. Jay has given us different classes and told us that we have middle class, but we have struggling middle class, and we have, you know what I mean?
Average.
We have struggling middle class, and we have the ones that are going down the spiral. What? And comfortable average middle class and struggling middle class. In fact, it's even average, not even the one closer to the
not middle class.
just average. Just God, man, God save our country. So my next question is this. Now we now move to personal experiences and opinion. Can you just tell me, in your own, living in Nigeria? I said we millennials, we are the one that live. We are the most fortunate. And when I say fortunate, you know what I mean. I could be sarcastic about it, and I can be real. I don't want to use the opposite, but because the world has actually changed before our very eyes in this existence more than 4 times, and we are still young. We moved from analog to digital. We were born without the use of all this technology. No phone, no computer, say baba. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, bam, everything just happen for our eyes. Then we move from there to social media era, from there to technology era, from there to bam. Now we are talking about augmented reality, artificial intelligence. In fact, I wouldn't blame some of myself that are left behind, because if you are not, as a millennial, if you are not careful, like the world is just moving us fast, as if we are just thrown into a very fast moving train and we don't know the bus stop. But now, from your own opinion, what are the factors that have contributed to the perception of thriving middle class in Nigeria, despite the economic challenges? Jay touched on very critical areas now. Making comparison with our fathers that were making it that time, that they didn't know that the world itself was changing. Then all of a sudden, the guys that were working for them, that they thought that they were better off, now appears to be even better off than our fathers. But our fathers were the engineer, were the, you get, what I'm calling Babagbe, many things are happening in our society now that is confusing us. So what are those things? And I want you to also share your personal experience and observation that illustrate the precarious economic stability faced by many Nigerians who are classified as middle class.
Okay, so I'm going to say that Jay's perception about the occurrence or the limelight of what middle class should be in terms of even breaking them down into chunks, right, is given. Because, and that is why we have a lot of theorists out there. I mentioned about the Marxist theory where you say it is either you are rich or you are poor. And there are also some other theories that will say that, yes, we have in the upper class, we have the upper class, the lower upper class, and then the middle class too. We have the upper middle class and the lower middle class.
So I've accepted your request, AY. I don't know why it's not coming. I've accepted it just now. So hopefully it's going to. So continue, Yomi. Sorry for that.
Okay, so that particular, those theories will continue to linger for ages. Now, the things that have actually contributed to this perception is about tangible assets. I think that is one of the things I'll pick on. Jake talked about having a BMW, and that qualifies him to be in the middle class.
I will introduce you after Yomi's submission. Hey,
no problem.
I want him to land. I don't want to obstruct his thoughts. Yeah, continue, Yomi.
Okay, so the tangible asset is actually what is making people to qualify them as being in the middle class and not being at the level of the upper class or the lower class. Now, I think about 2 months back, Daily Trust, they went out for an interview, and they interviewed a lot of Nigerians who said that they're actually in the middle class. And the point that these people were making was the fact that they have certifications, they have cars parked in their house, but guess what? Right now, in the current economic situation, they are saying that they are not able to drive those cars because of the fact that fuel subsidy has been removed and the cost of fuel has actually increased. Now, Nigerians, right, we really like to bobo ourselves. And it is that because of that boboing that we miss out on a lot of things. If I have a car and I'm in the middle class and I cannot afford to drive that car to places where I want to go to my office every day and come back, tell me, are you a middle class? That's a food for thought. Because as a middle class, right, or people in the middle class, you should be able to afford the basic needs and then be able to also, little things like going on vacation. The minute you are in UK, you know how much a visa would cost from your side to maybe Paris, right? But from here, as a middle class, how many of us can say, I want to go for a vacation to Qatar today and not be looking at the amount in my account and say, when I come back, I go so far. Yes, I go show people say I travel, go vacation, right? But when I come back, I go suffer because those things that actually makes a middle class to enjoy those benefits in that social strata are not available in the current economic situation.
Now, listen to this argument in the comment section. Yamal said that should be lower middle class. So we are not even so I say even that middle class, it is the lower middle class. So there's a lower middle class, just like Jay said, there's an upper middle class. Continue. It's just funny to me.
Struggling. With a struggle.
Man. So continue, please.
So my point is the fact that when A is A, let us say A is A and not A1, A2. There is no, see, this is not coding where you can say it is alphanumeric. If it is A, let's say it is A. If it is B, let's say it is B. If it is C, let's say it is C. And that is why I will always go with that Marxist story that says it is either you are rich or you are poor.
And that's what Bidel just said in the comments. He said there's no more class in Nigeria anymore. It is either you are rich or you are poor. So Yomi, hold your thought for a second. Let me introduce this, my brother, amazing brother. This is Ayodeji. Man, I'm going to sing a song so you go know S-born in the building. I'm back again. Man, this is my brother. I don't think many people know how close me and this guy were when we were in ND1. We're so close there. You remember now why? We're so close there. 5 and 6, my G.
Well,
So it's
I greet everybody. I'm actually very sorry. I use two phones, so I think the other phone was, wasn't catching up with the app, so I needed to download on the other phone to catch up. I greet everybody. The Meiji is nice seeing you again, speakers. And let me just sit and bend and squat on the existing protocols.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just make my introduction very.
Okay. Yeah. Shoot.
I'll just make my introduction very short. On the scale of 100, I want to 60%. I want to disagree with the speakers because I've been following the program, just that I've been unable to join. And I think I want to address the first question, Dimeji, you asked that what's the definition of middle class? And I think I want to do this scholarly speaking. When you say middle class, we all know why we're in school, we were taught that middle class is between the rich and the poor. And as time goes on, we're able to understand that to understand the basics of middle class, then we can classify and explain middle class based on occupation, income, education, and social status. Now, but unfortunately, so which I feel permits me to say that the speakers, I don't know, maybe I want to admit that we have a lot of things going on in Nigeria, but the speakers have jumped to the conclusion that middle class in Nigeria is an illusion, which I'm so much against. Unfortunately, the economic situation have given us so much dynamism about middle class. And I'll do this in a very simple term. If we do a simple analysis from 1999 to about 2015, we can categorically say we have the rich, we have the middle class, and we have the poor. Simply put, the rich are the big men that drives the big cars there, and we know what's up, practically speaking. And the middle class are just the normal guys that work based on salary, take care of the family, with that little change, and they still have the ability to save, no matter how little. Then the poor, we know the poor. The poor for me may be in 3 classes, but I don't want to go there. That's for me.
No, please,
but the
please,
poor
no,
are those that
I'm sorry, I've had the splitting of the middle class. Please split the poor for me, please. Do that for us. Please.
now the poor definition can be based on perception and exposure, based on where you grow up. Some people see poor as someone that would, that would probably rent 1-room apartment, get 1 stove, then, could afford kerosene, just 1 standing fan or 1 ceiling fan, just 1 bed, and that's all. Maybe 1 bucket to fetch water and drink. But at least they can still afford 1 single room. Then another class of poor can be those that cannot even afford, but they are squatters. They still have people they can go to, and okay, let me squat with you. And the least are those that will sleep everywhere on the street. You can classify them. So, but back to what I was talking about the middle class and the economic dynamism of the explanation of.
Is there no distinction between those people that are in the urban setting, considering those people in the rural setting as well as poor, looking at them as the poor? Exposure, like you said, sorry. I'm just trying to.
Now, a juxtaposition between the urban and the rural setting. Now, in rural setting, I don't think that then, when we talk about the poor, there's any migration going from the urban to the rural. Because even in the rural or even in the urban setting, you can still afford single room. Single room is as per year, you can see 30,000 naira. The major one were in Nigeria in 91, in 2010, you can afford to get an apartment, 1 single room in Face Me and Face in Ogba, as cheap as 50,000 naira, 60,000 naira. You will see. You dare not try it now. But we're not talking about now. We're just trying to do an overall. But I don't want to move away from the topic. So I was just talking about the economic dynamism and the definition of middle class. Now, we now discovered that from that point, 1999 to 2015, we could do a bit of dissection about the rich, the poor, and the middle class and the poor. Then from after 2015, when former President Buhari came in, we saw a very huge lacuna between the rich and the poor, and it was looking like the middle class will not exist, because the infliction of the economy, then the pain inflicted on us then made us forget that we are even middle class, and now there's other dynamism. Now we are talking about the Tinubu region. Unfortunately, the rich are now coming to the middle class. Why the middle class, we thought they were middle class then, are now going below. That is why I will concur to the fact that when somebody said that we now have lower middle class, that means my definition about the poor then is now shifting a paradigm to the middle class, that we can even dissect the middle class in 3 stages. So I don't want to assume that middle class is an illusion. And even himself, recently the president had, permit me to say this. In a recent media chat with the president of Nigeria recently, and we had business mogul, media moguls like the Ruben Abati and co, that threw questions to the president to feed. And I would take an assertion from it when he said he had a friend that used to have luxuries of cars, fleets of cars, and unfortunately now drive Honda. That means that friend was in the range of the rich, but unfortunately need to come down the ladder to the middle class. It's not poor. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
No, so I will say that you mean of course the whole economic is now down spiral like that. So it has actually shifted the whole classism, the class structure we have.
Okay. Let's do a bit of mathematics in English. I was trying to explain middle class, and researchers have classified middle class in 4 stages. Now they talk about occupation, they talk about income, they talk about social status. Let me just base on that 3. Now, when you say occupation, unfortunately, you are in a country that, according to the NBS, we have about 50% unemployment rate. Unfortunately, in the practical sense, it's about over 55, or not about 55 in the practical state.
I disagree.
Now, I'm coming, sir. I said in the practical sense, I'm not
Okay.
going by the way of MBS.
Okay.
I first talk about the MBS statistics.
Please. Hold your thought for just 1 second. Jay, why did you
Go
decide?
ahead.
Let's hear that line.
Okay.
That line why you decided.
That the classification of employed and unemployed sometimes it doesn't reflect the reality of Nigeria. We have people who have never held full-time jobs that are more comfortable and more successful than people that have held full-time jobs. And I feel that until we begin to put the informal sector, when the MBS does this strategy, this conclusion on the stats of who and who is employable and who makes money, then we are not doing the right job.
Okay, which was why I said that according to MBS,
yes,
our unemployment is about 50%. But in a practical sense, this I can go do a survey or go on research that employment rate is over 50 or 55% in Nigeria. That is about occupation. Now, income. We just talk about the after 2015, the Buhari regime, that handed battle, passed over the battle to President Tinubu. Then we were struggling. The economic hardship on us take a long toll that Nigerians started complaining. They could not keep it again. Then this administration came in and said, you know what, I'm increasing the minimum to 70,000 naira. That cannot even meet the reality of every human being. So the income is out of it. Now, social status. How do you expect somebody that does not have an occupation, that does not have income to have it? So that means if out of 4, 3 is out of it, then I don't think you can explain further.
Thank you very much. But you said you make your opening speech brief. It was a lecture. So
okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It was a joke. I love that. At least it was educating and everything. Yomi, land your thoughts, and we'll just proceed from there.
Okay, so I will still say that a lot of times we are bamboozled by these theories, and those theories actually makes up a kind of like a knowledge in our brain that the realities cannot even fight with. I am actually dealing with realities here, and when I say that there is no middle class, it has gone into extinction. It's because of the fact that we are dealing with the current economic situation right now, and this particular economic situation has shrinked the middle class into the lower class. And that is what I'm saying, for the fact that I do not see these 3 social stratas anymore. What I'm seeing right now is the upper class, whether you are rich, or in the lower class, whether you are poor. Because as a middle class person, I am still saying I should be able to afford the good things of life. And if I'm not able to afford
Yomi, are the rich still rich?
Are the rich still rich?
Some of them.
Are the rich? You said?
Some of them.
Are the rich still rich?
No, some are still rich, and some are not.
So those that are not rich, they are not rich. Where are they now?
They are, of course, they are poor. Do you know why
they are not
poor?
They are not.
Do you know
They are
why
not.
they are poor? Do you know why they are poor? Do you know why they are poor? They are poor because of their inability to maintain the standard of that particular class. And what is poverty? Poverty is the inability to afford your basic needs and also the good things of life. Things like clothing, shelter, food. As at today, I am still saying it. How many people can afford good food? Right now,
I disagree. I totally disagree with that.
It takes, I'm saying, okay, probably because you are in the upper echelon. I mean, you're a rich person. Come down to the.
I am not a rich person. I am not a rich Nigerian.
Listen. You are in the upper echelon. Let us listen.
Come down to us that used to be in the middle class, but right now there's no middle class. I am saying that to even afford chicken or fish, and you want to substitute it with eating egg that used to be 13 naira or 14 naira before. One egg is now 2
Yomi, let me chip this question in. And after I chip it in, I want one person to also sacrifice. Who is sacrificing next? Ewa, you can't sacrifice yet.
I can.
Who is sacrificing next?
I can go.
Okay. I want to chip this question. Once you land your thoughts, then I will shift to Jay. something happened, and this is a practical example. I used to know a medical doctor, and he was married. He's married. He's still married. So to a nurse, they were doing fine in Nigeria. In fact, these people till now, I don't know why they needed to travel out, because the man was actually at some point in time vying for a top position in the line of his profession. He has gotten to the peak. The wife was also doing fine as a nurse. And when I mean nurse, they've gathered certificate, moved up the ladder, and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I thought it was people like us that we should travel because we're just starting our life. I still have an excuse. Baba, as it be. And all of a sudden, I just saw these people pack their bags. They built house, built everything, and they're in the UK. So that is the reality, obtainable reality. In that, would you tell me, in your own view, what could you feel like has been responsible for someone to commit such career? I don't want to say career suicide, because suicide is a big word in that instance. Career decision, to carry out that such career decision in order to, since you've gotten to the peak or almost to the peak of your line of career in Nigeria, to say no, it's better for me to go to this economy. What do you think has been the projection of most middle class that we used to have to move to this part of the world? So Yomi, land your thought on that briefly, and JJ can pick that one too, and then Ayo.
So what will actually be the projection for that, right, is the fact that the current economic situation, right, has become an eye-opener to everybody. So it is now go hard or go home. See, it is no longer struggle or go poor. It is now go hard or go home. It is either A or B. And those things, having those people, right, I think they have seen the projection and say that, see, if you continue to stay in this country with our level of certification and also profession and level of income, sooner or later, the narrative of either rich or poor will catch up with us and we'll move down to the lower echelon, which is the lower class. Thank you.
Okay. Jay, the same question, but let me pick it from another direction. I know someone personally who used to work for an insurance company, married to a nurse. His wife is a nurse. And all of a sudden, you just see the man told me that, Omodimi, I don't think you can't be rich in this economy. From the job when they do. And this is almost 10 years ago, I promise you. He told me categorically, Baba, I travel out. You cannot be rich in this country except you do fraud, which is a question you opened. Now, why I'm asking that, he said, except he in deep and into fraud, which he no one do, or making jackpot. And the guy picked jackpot. And to be sincere with you, the guy don't do things for Nigeria now. Where we say, he be like say, waiting talk, it was true. He couldn't have done that, working those. So I want you to also narrate that. Is it that he didn't wait, like the aspire to perspire guys will say, wait and fight for your rights? Luck will hit you in the morning when, or he chicken out, or he took the right decision. What do you think is responsible for all this mindset that is going on amidst us as Nigerians?
The conversation around migration is not something new. Even when Nigeria was supposedly good, some of our best heads have always left. And if you look at the numbers of people leaving, if you are poor, you cannot live. Because before you relocate, you need an average of 10 million naira, 10 million naira. In a wise word, around 1999 to 2015, seemingly look good. How many people relocated? See, every time, every position where you did for life, now you go realize the reality of your time. So if you were a young kid and one bros left to the UK that time, but I like Bajada, he has relocated. You didn't see a meaning to it. But if you are at this age and the brother Lagbaja wish your friend relocates, then you understand it better. So how many of our people are living? At least, at all of our numbers, less than 10% of our population are living. It's still the 1% of the 1% that lives. Not everybody has 10 million to survive. I did mention a point at the start that a lot of people have lived above their means so much that it's difficult to cope in an economy that is somewhat in a trajectory of, if you are not making extra income, you cannot survive. So,
Jay, touch on that portal of fraud you opened. Now you wanted to talk about the other time.
We could break them down. prior to the 2010, no, okay, let's move fast forward. Let's talk about 2016 to 2020. So, as of 2012, when I was in university, my bros that used to work in a bank gave me a car to drive around. Oh, big boy. I afford to buy petrol of 1,000 naira and carry all the girls in morning. In 2016, at that time, we get boys who don't collect your Uber. If you buy iPhone 10, iPhone X, iPhone 7, iPhone 8 for your girls. In 2020, when the benefit funds, if you get what I'm saying, would come, we had more young people who were able to buy accommodation, and the truth is that house rents in urban centers like Lagos tripled because of the influx of dollars from America, believe it or not. So if you are yeah?
I said tripled. Wow.
Working class guy that ends up, say, let's even talk about from our reality. Working class guy that works regular job, you earn 100K. You live at Gege, you pay rent like 300K monthly. You can't get a girlfriend where they live for maybe like no, but you can't get a girlfriend where they work like maybe 100K job, and your girlfriend has an iPhone 14. That iPhone 14, if you look at or iPhone 13, if you look at it
That
from
would have been the work of God. That would have been the work of God. That would have been the work of God.
It's not the work of God. It's the work of people that are richer than you. And that's say for everything that you see. If you have 3 that are working in office jobs that have good jobs, you have another 4 that have extra income that you can never make it even in 1 year of your annual income. And these guys can afford to relocate. The working class guys, the guys that actually work, that are supposedly part of the middle class, how many of them can relocate without loan? Even when Nigeria was good. If Nigeria was good, how many of our people left? So as much as we want to talk about, oh, people are relocating, that bros will be a medical doctor. He probably was, and he get houses. But the thing is, because he is on that level, that even with his 200K or 300K salary that he was living big, the school fees that his child was paying was over $1 million. We had civil servants that had kids in the United Kingdom. What salary are they collecting? When we begin to question the fact that for many years, people have always lived above their means, either through fraud or either through extra income, then we are not even going to get to the answer. So people have always found their way to survive in Nigeria one way or the other, and they've always been that middle class. Because if I have to relocate, I go sell my motor. Maybe my papa get one land for our village for a pair or something. We go sell them. We have to look
And family go swear for you. They go use masquerade.
I will get land for them and I will give 1 plot. Relocation has always been a big part of our society. People will live in the United Kingdom that you are. People are living from the United Kingdom to Saudi Arabia and Australia because the incomes are better in that society. So I don't consider people who live as it's not a big deal who always live, and that's the reality of the existence that we are in.
Thank you very much. AY, even OBOs, I'm a Babalowos, and they see them for years. OBOs when we say, you suppose they enjoy life for Nigeria now. We even understand. I mean, you know our band is say, me, I know the form. You know my story.
Any golf course in the
silver spoon silver spoon gbà lọ́wọ́ mi gbogbo gbà yẹn ní silver spoon wọ́n ti kọ́ ṣebí silver spoon yẹn là ń lọ gbà máa yé padà lọ́wọ́ báyìí jẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ fílẹ̀ àṣà ń pàdúrà gbà máa gbà kó wa padà. But you know what I mean? I lost my dad at a very young age. I was actually born with a silver spoon. Like what he's saying is true. We lived in an estate where there's golf course. Like you know what I'm talking about, Jay. Thank God you made mention of it. I stopped talking about it because most people think I was saying things out of, but I was saying the truth, fam. Because my dad was an engineer, a top engineer for kind of like working in La Paz, and we were living in the quarters where, in fact, you know that time now, Jay, they call my crib now, everywhere good. I was born with a silver spoon, fam. Like, but my silver spoon here. So in a nutshell, I did see OBOs for years, which I question. Why have OBOs also been leaving Nigeria? Okay, from your own definition too, I'm giving you practical example. What will you say to that?
See,
I think I want to start my conversation with this. It is very selfish and unfair that anyone will wake up one morning and start doing a comparison between Nigeria and US, Canada, UK. You are just too unfair because Nigeria cannot take sides. You can't even place them. Your juxtaposition can never be right.
But
For crying out loud,
but wait,
I'm coming, sir. I'm coming, sir. Okay. I'm coming, sir. For crying out loud, whether we like it or not, but we've read according to reports that Nigeria is a developing country, maybe underdeveloping. That's your own to decide. And it's very, very, very unfair to start comparing Nigeria to other countries, especially to the UK, Canada, but that's fine. Now, you talk about people traveling now, the doctor. See, first, I think we should start talking about brain drain. A lot of people have traveled out of the country in the past, but Nigeria didn't feel this surge until I think between 2015 and 2020. Like my colleague said, the surge was much, and Nigeria wouldn't have reacted if not that our best ends were actually leaving the country, which consequently dragged us into a deep brain drain that we are still struggling and struggling about the brain drain to today. But brain drain or not, those traveling outside the country, according to the constitution, also have the freedom of movement, whether we like it or not. Every Nigerian or everybody, every human being has the right to go after a greener pasture. And I won't blame those living in the country. I will blame our government for allowing the Westerners come into the country and exploiting our best hand. If I'm a medical doctor and I'm earning 500,000 naira every month, can you hear me? And the white men are in my country, any which way, maybe virtually or in person, telling me, you know what, come to my country and you earn in dollars or pounds. Brother, I will go. I'm telling you for free. So those traveling outside the country, going for certain greener pastures, they are nowhere to be blamed. But coming back to our discussion, I don't want to believe that there is no middle class, and a middle class is an illusion. Now, wait, that middle class level will continue to remain. Somebody was saying, is either you are rich or you are poor. And I was doing a mathematical, practical example. It's Tinubu, the president of the country, of the country, says he used to have a friend that has fleets of cars, but now drives a Honda. Is that person poor?
Which could be lie, though. Which could be lie.
No, I don't know. I don't know whether true or false.
Which could be lying too.
I'm coming. Whether he's saying the truth or not, I want to bank on his utterance. Now, what I'm trying to say is that person poor? What just changed is that person just moved from the rich level to the middle class. The middle class, the rich level, the poor level will remain the same. If the poor dies, that person have gone so low beyond the poor level. The thing that changed is the people in those circles. I will be pained if I was in the rich circle or the rich line and I drop to the middle class. I'll be pained if I drop to the poor class. But what about those that have gone up from the poor to the rich? What about those that have gone up from the lower class to the... See, fingers are not equal. Let's accept the facts. And those people that think that are leaving the country could also leave because of the dilapidated economic situation of the country. We can't argue. Even the president has admitted that the economy is in bad shape, and he has chosen to be an engineer, and he has chosen to be a marketer, whatever we like it or not.
Which leads me to
but trying to tell me that
I want
to address the OBO or the whether he, now I will see chipping from the angle of whether you like it or not. The OBO is from a rich family, and somebody said the OBO and co, they know themselves, are spending generational wealth. They can afford to travel out of the country at any time. They can afford to own a private jet. They can afford to get luxuries outside the country. So you don't do a comparison with such people. I think we should come down to the level. I'm not saying they are God. No. Orí ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ la gbé wáyé, Ọlọ́run ti dá wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn tọ́lọ́run dẹ̀ dá báyìí, I blame Ọlọ́run. You know, but trying to say that there is no middle class and middle class is an illusion, I take objection to that.
Okay.
Middle class exists,
Okay.
but we as human beings, we change.
Thank you.
Based on situations.
Okay, this one is for you, and I feel you are the one that can do justice to this question. There's no way we talk about this topic. We are not going to pick on capitalism, socialism, communism, blah blah blah. We know that at some point in time, someone like Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
Excuse me, sorry, it's raining here and it's really noisy. That's why it's hard for me to hear so well. It's really raining heavily.
Okay.
So,
can you hear me now?
But I can hear you. In case it gets kind of noisy, just know that's the reason.
No problem. So now, this is my question. Someone like Chief Obafemi Awolowo initiated some things that tilted towards socialism, because maybe, let's say, because they were coming from the pre-colonial setting and they were still trying to maintain the core Africanness that we were at that time, to actually shape our government towards that, so everybody could actually benefit the dividends of democracy. Years after, they started chipping in element of capitalism. Now, capitalism is fully in shape in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, the one sitting on the throne right now, who is our number one president, is a capitalist. So, I want to ask you a question. And my question is, so we have oligarchy, we have monarchy, we have, of course, let's take monarchy out of this question now. Oligarchy, aristocracy, democracy, and capitalism. Do you really think this is what has actually played in the narrative around the middle class in Nigeria? You know, that has framed and has shaped the reality of the middle class. And in order, you can actually also give us practical examples, because you are actually doing this business, and you are exposed to the socio-political inequalities that we have, the impact of the inaccessible essential services like education and healthcare, blah blah blah, that we have. So I want you to actually talk on it. Is it the system of government that we've tilted towards, or you feel that this is actually a deliberate act from our elite? They've created this country in order to be like this?
Well, coming from your point of view, I think regardless of the system of government, even back in the days where they used to have very crazy set of leaders, there were still progression. I think one of the problems we have is continuity in government. This last regime will come, do this, stop. When they go, the next regime will jump to something different and do something totally different that is not a continuation of the progress we've been making. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So I think whatever system of government that we have and it works, the people can still align with it. There are still a lot of places where, look at North Korea. We don't even hear news about what is happening inside of North Korea. We are only hearing what the government has doctored for us to know. Are you getting me? And they are still progressing at their own pace. So I feel like our first problem is not the type of system of government we practice, but the continuity. The elite, see, either we like it or not, there will always be the elite. There will always be the rich. There will always be the 1% of the 1%. And there will always be the poor and the people struggling in between the poor and the rich. We, the middle class, as we've been saying. But my first thing is, are we trying to bridge that gap or cutting or breaking it? Because with what we have right now, there's no bridge safe. There is gutter. If you can jump it, it's 6 feet wide. If you can jump it, safe. If you can't jump it, all the best. So I think on the government part, there's no continuity. And on the people's part, many of us are praying for grace of God without work. Let us be honest. Proper Nigerian syndrome is, Ọlọ́run máa ṣe, Ọlọ́run máa ṣe.
Olóore ni.
And many of us
Jẹ́
are
kí n
really
pàdé
sitting on that.
jẹ́ kí n pàdé
Huh?
AYK tó máa bless mi jọ kan. Jẹ́ kí n pàdé olóore ni.
So many of us are really sitting on that
Then why yourself?
ideology. Yes. In the holy books where you see work, they say work and pray. They don't say pray. They don't say die in the church. They don't say die in the mosque. They say work and pray. So a lot of us are not exploring enough on how to better our skills or in your career. Look at, I have some bankers as friends. In the last 6 years, they've done over 10 professional courses. And there are still some of their colleagues that haven't done one in 5 years. Okay, tell me, when there is time for appraisal or promotion, am I going to choose you over the other person? Or you have a business where the customer service is top-notch, the customer service is top-notch, and you have one that the customer service is just nonsense. Which one would you choose? Let us leave the government out of all these things for a minute. How much are we individually trying to bridge these gaps in between us? How much? It's a rhetoric personal question. We all should sit back and ask ourselves, are we making investment for our younger ones to be like, okay, my brother, I can step on this. My brother has made this happen. I can step on this. My mother has made this happen. My dad has done this. Or we are just living life on no purpose or futuristic plans or investments. This is not government. This is not God. This is not structure. This is how much are we personally, household or family, trying our own best to put it into our future for the people coming behind us. Because trust me, either you like it or not, those people in the upper class, it is the work they've been doing that the kids or their family or their heritage is stepping on, either we like it or not.
Thank you for that. Now this moving to the last question, and this will be the last round. If you have anything you want to touch real quick before this last question is for everybody, then we're done. But before I ask this last question, let me thank you guys. I'm going to add Jay back once one person is done with his submission. Thank you for saying yes to this. I maximum love and respect for you, brothers. I know it's not easy for you to devise, time and say, I have this Dimeji time. Let me just, and before then, I know you guys prepared. At least you read one or two, and that is a lot to me. Thank you very much. This will be edited, posted on YouTube and Spotify. I'll share you the link afterwards. But the most important thing is what you've done, rendering your voice for posterity in order to say, you played your own part and all. And I'm also hoping that our struggle will not be in vain. Our voice will actually mean a lot. And thank you very much for jumping on this platform and supporting. So this is my last question, brothers. So looking ahead, what changes do you believe are necessary to create a more sustainable and equitable middle class in Nigeria? And how can individuals contribute to this transformation? I think you have spoken on that, Latore. You spoke on how can individuals contribute to this transformation. So now look ahead and tell us what changes do you believe are necessary to create a more sustainable and equitable middle class in Nigeria, please.
Oh, okay. For starters, for me, because how I speak and what I speak on is quite personal on how I see things and my environment. The first thing is quality control.
Is what?
That's how we call it. Hello?
Is what? Come again.
Quality control. In all the sectors that we have varying, widely spread sectors in Nigeria, from government to banks to whatever we have. What is the quality control? How much are you steadfast on the quality of products and services you push out there? For the government, I think I live in the southeast and I live in the metropolis of the city. The new governor we have is a workaholic. There's a large pace on continuity here. So I'm saying that in the next 8 years, with what he's doing, we'll have a very, very large speed on development. Imagine that, just because he's continuing projects that have been abandoned. Do you get me? So that's for the government. For they can bring out quality control. I will always talk about quality control because I'm the service business. the product and service business, political, because I see a lot of people, a lot of things dwindling down the drain just because they're like, hey, our government self no good. Why I go can't do it good? Our government know they do this. Why I go can't they do them? No, I think that perspective or mindset is one of the reasons why we will stay stagnantly stuck or going back.
Okay, thank
So
you very, very much for that.
My own contribution.
Thank you
Policy
very
control and continuity in government.
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, you can drop and I'll add you. But
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you,
that's
brother.
Because
I'll
I'm
be in
also
touch with you.
struggling to hear.
Yomi, the same question to you. If you have anything you want to touch, you can touch it in your submission. But looking ahead, Yomi, what changes do you believe? You stood on your ground that there's no middle class. So I will reframe the question for you. So looking ahead, what changes do you believe is necessary to bring back our middle class? That is the question for you. To bring back that middle class and make it sustainable this time and equitable. And how can individuals contribute to this reality, to this transformation?
Okay, so for me, I'm a very, very practical person. And the books and theories are there. But reality as of today is the fact that we can talk about the government creating more jobs, right? Having like a subsidized health care access for citizens and people in the country. We can talk about a lot of these things. And I think that since I've been in primary school and secondary school, I've been hearing a lot about, yes, government should create more jobs, they should ensure that there is,
and things are
accessibility
getting
to
worse.
and things are getting worse. Do you understand? So at this point, I have taken my hands off anything government. I feel like we have a responsibility on our side to take matter into our hands. And that is the fact that waking up to see that government in this country, they are not going to do anything for you. It is either you accept it or not. The present government we have, I'm not going to be a prophecy of doom, but by projection, right, we can see that the government that would also come in the future might likely not also help matter. So and that takes me or bring this down to the fact that as individuals, we need to start addressing how to curb leakages.
So do you think, I'm sorry, I have to chip this in. Do you really think capitalism can still actually make this a reality? Or we need to tilt towards socialism? In your own view?
In my own view, I think we need to tilt towards socialism because the capitalists are not ready to let go of what they have. And they feed on the fact that people are suffering and it's a joy for them to watch. You imagine people waking up in government every day and bringing about some reforms that sometimes you just ask yourself, are these people actually thinking well? Are they feeling what? That's why I told some of my, speakers right here that I know they are in the rich sector, but sometimes you also need to come down to the poor sector, to the lower class, and see things for yourself and how they feel. Because me, I will not lie, I know by faith I am in the upper class. In
by
reality,
faith,
I know
you're a typical Nigerian by that statement. You're a typical Nigerian by
exactly.
faith. You could just my portion is even though you might be at the struggling middle class, like Jay said, but by faith, all of us we are there at the top.
Exactly. So we just need to choose towards the socialism part, and I feel like one of the things that is also affecting household in the country is the fact that there are leakages, and leakages in the sense that the earnings of a man or a married man, right, in an household is not meeting up to the inflation rate in the country, and for that married man, he has to feed his kids. Also, family members are depending on him, and that is where those leakages come into place. And because I'm earning don't let me say 200,000 naira salary. Because I'm earning 100,000 naira salary, I need to feed my family. I also need to feed family members and friends that are in need of help.
Is that why you don't?
I think that
is that why you don't pick most of our calls sometimes?
so I really feel that as individuals, we have a responsibility for those of us that are in the upper class, like my friends here on this call, right? And also people that are there, are capitalists that are there. I think we have a responsibility to also pull up people that are below the ladder. And this is where what I preach every day to say that before you climb up the ladder, somebody took you up there. And then when you get there too, do not forget people that are down there. So that so that overall, right, we can help each other, we can bring each other up. And I keep on saying that you see at the top, there's enough space for all us, to excel. It is at the bottom that is very crowded, the lower class that is very crowded. So
Thank you.
controlling leakages and mitigating those things that come from what the economic situation is pouring upon the citizens in this country is very vital. And I think that will be my contribution. Help
Thank you very
people,
much.
bring them
Thank you
up.
very much. Jay, I'm saving AY for the last. So Jay, final question. You can touch on anything that has been said before you round up. Is allowed. But my final question to you is this: looking ahead, what changes do you believe are necessary to create a more sustainable and equitable middle class in Nigeria? I love the fact that you and AY broke the middle class down for us. So now we want to that middle class. Now we want it to be sustainable and equitable. So what looking ahead? So what do you believe are the necessary changes to create a more sustainable and equitable? And how can we individuals, Nigerians now, contribute to this transformation that we envisage?
Okay, I would disagree with our last speaker now. I feel that first off, as much as we might hate the government about their reforms, there are certain things that should have been done and have to be done. People talk about free education in Nigeria. Hey, our fathers went to free education, but we've not built systems that live after people. So why don't we have free education in 2024? Why did Yar'Adua and Obasanjo have issues with refinery? Why are we sorting out fuel subsidy in 2024? The societies that thrive are primarily capitalist system across board. How many socialist systems do we have? We have 100 and something countries in the globe. We have more capitalist systems than socialist systems. Even the United Kingdom
Was that
that
by
you live in
choice? Break it down. Was that by choice or by policy domination?
See, the world has evolved around. The world is changing. We must admit, first off, that 2020, COVID-19 2020, fucked the world up. So we cannot talk about economy in 2025 and not talk about what happened in 2020. For over 6 months of our lives, the world shut down. Even the best economies struggled. And Nigeria is a system that has not even survived before. So how will they even now survive after COVID? So reforms would come. We have to understand that the issue with government is that, above all, things are expensive everywhere. But government must create an enabling environment where people must also earn better. So if you're earning 500K or 1 million naira, to buy rice 1 derica of 1,000 naira will not be a problem. But if you're earning 70K, to buy rice of 1 derica will be a problem. So we have an earning issue, not a systems issue. Petrol is expensive everywhere. You live in the UK now. You enter train now. I get friends that live abroad. If you talk to your friends as you say you do Nigeria, make you talk to your friend with the UK. Talk to him for like 1 hour. Make you complain make you tell him your problem. If you go send you money, he go send you 20K. If it was so nice, he should be able to sell you more money.
You don't abuse me to my face. You don't abuse me.
No. I never asked you for money now, so I never know what you could do.
You don't abuse me now.
but that's the truth. Everywhere across the globe, people are struggling. The only difference is that systems work in some places. They don't need electricity. They don't need transport. All these things are sorted. So reforms will come. I don't think in the next election, I don't think that there's any president that will come and say that is going to take out subsidy. It's going to return naira to
naira.
These things they have to come one way or the other. The systems that have worked. We talk about the French Revolution. We talked about the American Civil War. At a point in our life, some people have to take the hard stance. So, as much as we hate the government, and the government is not even making things easier, because you cannot be saying that we should do A and you are doing B. So, if they were a little bit circumspect in their spending, we probably will understand. But for the betterment of our future, some things must happen now. If my bro here, maybe you be media person. I think in the papers this week, they said that the European refineries they are crying because Dangote refinery is working. So imagine if 3 other Nigerian refineries are working. That means to an extent, some countries in Europe will suffer because we have decided to work. So that's government. I know a rich man that owns an electric vehicle. He has an electric vehicle company. His name is Cyclef or something. They have e-vehicles. In 2017, Yomi Oshiba and the DG of Nigerian Automobile something, they signed a law that if you are bringing an EV to Nigeria, it is free customs and duties. In 2024, the man tried to bring in 20 EVs into Nigeria. When the carrier reached port, they seized his automobile for 6 months because the guys at the port, they did not believe that Nigerian government will sign something that will say if you bring electric vehicles inside free. The DG did not know what he signed. The guys that are ruling us are part of our system. They are not all lobby. Tinubu Ekolodagbasi. Akpabio grew up in Akwa Ibom. They are part of us. They are a big part of us. Until the National Orientation Agency start to do much more in ensuring the average Nigerian guy does well. You buy petrol sometimes, and you go buy petrol 970 from Lagos to Ibadan. The petrol go finish, and you go buy it for some filling station. You cannot talk about government and government policies without talking about the people. It's a big part of what we live in. If our people are not better, the country will not be better. They say government, they give palliative. People will keep the palliative and sell to other people. So government is a big part of the problem, but ourselves, now we do ourselves past. So talking about solutions moving forward, I don't like to talk about government because we talk about government, and we must give kudos to this government sort of, because we are having, from the 2013 thereabout, from Mohammed Sanusi, the system that you live in America, they have credits. Now you can go on your phone. If you don't get money, if you go buy phone for easy money, it'll be easy something. So as much as you're a government, some of these policies are working because people can afford to access loan. In 2010, before you access a loan, you have to go to the bank. But there's OPay, there's cash, there's this, there's that. You can talk about it.
Wait, tell me the loan where they go to send to your family member. Going to get embarrassed.
No, see, there's so much. No, that's another conversation entirely.
Okay.
But 20 years ago, you could not access a loan. You could not buy a phone for free. Now you can buy a phone and pay small. You can buy TV. So America that we talk about as the hallmark of democracy, those are the systems that work there. It's a credit-based system. Nigerians are buying cash. So going forward now, talking about solutions, we have a market base that is untapped. I do strategy for people. And we have a market space that Nigerians have not tapped at all. And I think that's what one of our speakers spoke about. See, some people, everybody that is creating an innovation, now only food they sell. Glovo, Temo, we are servicing service, luxury. You want to buy clothes, you want to buy this. Who is creating an app for artisans? Who is creating an app for mechanics? But if you want to buy food, there's Glovo, there's Chowdeck. They are even still servicing our luxury. So there's an untapped market that, as young people like ourselves, that we can actually just find a way to get into. The rich people continue to get richer because they find a way to access the market space that we don't access. We continue to abuse government. Hey, government, she buy, what she buy? But have you created a solution in your neighborhood? So until we start to access the markets that are untapped, then most Nigerians will continue to suffer. That's how you move. In my boss that trained me, one of my bosses says that he has a company, he lives in Sunderland and lives in Nigeria. He says he has a family in Sunderland. He says 3 months in Sunderland and 9 months in Nigeria. He says for Sunderland, if you no work, you no go get money. But for Nigeria, if you sleep, make person call you, say you get this, and you're a millionaire almost instantly. Until you begin to access the place where there's money, then we'll continue to suffer. There's so much that we can do to ourselves. There's so much that we can improve ourselves with. As long as we continue to suffer, as long as we continue to complain about government, then we'll continue to remain in that lower class. There's a middle class, but it's not just as it should be. And there's so much more that we can do to improve ourselves.
Thank you very much. much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was really. All speakers here, I love, even though we had different submissions, but we can't take it away. It has been brilliant all the way along. So, Ake, I saved the best for the last, Abi. So, I want you to go, and the same question for you as well. Looking ahead, what changes do you believe are necessary to create a more sustainable and equitable middle class in Nigeria? And how can individuals contribute to this transformation, please? Why? It's your turn. Okay. Jay.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, someone can leave between you and Yomi. I think he's trying. He said he's trying to unmute himself. I don't know why it's difficult that way.
Okay, let me leave.
Okay. Has he been able to unmute himself? Yeah.
No, just one person to leave. Just one person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. My icon had to go to the top bar, so I couldn't access it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was Yomi that left. I don't know who told Yomi that I'm part of the upper classes. I beg you.
It could be your helper.
But spiritually, I claim it too. You know, we are very spiritual in this part of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. I will just sign out with this.
Okay.
And I'll do it very, very brief. The illusion of middle class in Nigeria, I think that topic is personal and perceptual. Just like I will maintain. And the last speaker, I like what he said, that middle class exists. Now they change. And our situation, they change us. Someone that is in the middle class today may not be in the middle class tomorrow. Because you are bittered, because it's not your fault, does not mean you take up the topic and say there is no middle class. Now you drop. So what can be done is what we want to talk about now. So the illusion of the middle class for me is untrue, but can be personal and be perceptual, the way you see it. Now, how do we solve this problem? Solving this problem is a bit broad, because whether we like it or not, the speakers have said so much that I don't think I should waste my time on so many things. But of course, we won't take away the fact that the subsidy removal, the COVID-19, economic policies, and all, we are still struggling, and trying to navigate through all these policies. But I will just do a simple thing. Now, when the issue of minimum wage came up, and I was invited to some radio stations to talk, and I think I said it. I said, who are those that will benefit from the minimum wage? Is it the federal civil servant or the state civil servant, or the formal or the informal sector? You are fighting the government to pay, and the government paying you working in a private sector, that's minimum wage. Unfortunately, as we speak, we see have companies that are here to pay the previous 30,000 naira. So what happens to the NLC? What have they been doing? How is the mobilization? What strict measurement have they been taking on these companies? We have a lot of them. I have investigated some, I've called some, I recently did an investigation, and I was able to uncover that there is a pharmaceutical company in Nigeria, as we speak now, a pharmaceutical company that does not have any health insurance for its workers. Wow. It's as bad as that. Is that the government's fault or greed? Why are we selfish? So now, but when we flip the coin, can this private, the informal and the formal sector, can they even afford the 70,000 naira when you don't have a business-friendly ecosystem? We have a lot of giant companies that that have left Nigeria based on policies, that and that. Can they? And which was why recently I was a gathering of some business tycoons that said they advocated that they should give the private sector have to have access to a lot of finances to boost their business. When a business is thriving, there is no way they won't pay comfortable and conveniently, even more than the minimum wage. You know, a lot of things need to be put in place. Now, we are talking about the tax reform that has been able to cause a lot of unnecessary, I call it theater of absurdity, all around. The Northerners are saying this, the Northerners are saying that. I don't bloody care what the Northerners governors are saying. I don't bloody care what the Southern governors are saying. But one part of that tax reform bill that I'm so happy about is that it's taking into full consideration our entrepreneurs. That means they will be paying little or no tax. Because there are a lot of taxes. You talk about state taxes, local government taxes, agbero taxes, and all other taxes, you know, that you cannot even document, which is killing businesses. They cannot even afford to get a physical shop, and they're not getting virtual shops. That you see most of them selling on Instagram and other social media platforms. And unfortunately, we have criminals. Because you see something online, you order and you are getting another thing. You know, it's not because they want to be that way, even though some have, you know, planned their life to be that way, but because of how the situation we found ourselves in the country. So I feel now, whether we like it, as an individual, we need to be guided. We need to we need to stop being greedy to ourselves. You know, even when the government is trying to put up policies, let's try not to be greedy. I remember recently I was in the public commercial bus, and you know, the petrol dropped, and it came up about yesterday. Petrol dropped. I was talking about two weeks ago. So about 900 and something naira, and you know, people were complaining that why are we still paying the same price? Why can't we just experience a drop? You know, but Nigerians, they try to, you know, take advantage of any opportunity, any problem, any little thing. They just want to be rich overnight. Go to the street now, go and buy rice. Just tell them you want to buy rice. They'll give you one spoon, one small spoon. The meji, you know, spoon now, spoon. Party. One small spoon for 400 naira. How much is 1 drink? I'm telling you, 1 drink is 1,500 naira or 1,600, depending on location. So why are we punishing ourselves? Well, I'm not saying the Tinubu administration is the Messiah, but I think the most important thing as we speak, and why majority of the low class will draw from that low class, and they will put the blame on government or any economic situation, and they feel that the low class is not there again, is because they go to all these government workers. They know what they are saying. They are enjoying. But because their company, that private company they are working with, does not have access to funding. That private company they are working is not existing in a business-friendly ecosystem. You know, a company that can boast of maybe 500 million naira, for example, 6 months in the middle of the year, cannot even boast of 100 million naira annually again. And it will definitely affect your salary. And you have a lot of companies that are now, you know, downsizing, sacked a lot. Beginning of this year, we have giant companies that, you know, sacked a lot of Nigerians. Where are they sacking them to? To where? So those people that are sacked, they will tell you there's no middle class. Whether you like it or not, some people in the upper class are dropping to the middle. You are the one that are dropping. The ones dropping from the middle to the lower. So where are they sacking them to? To their house, to the streets, to robbers, to go and steal. You know, there are a lot of stories, and there are a lot of discussions that needs to be brought to the table, and we are saying it. They are hearing. And another thing is, we've talked about a lot of tariffs, power, electricity tariff. You know, at some point, we have a lot of businesses that are complaining. You know, I visited the lounge recently, and the man had to come upstairs to meet us that, please, I can't put on my AC. I said, why? He said he's paying over $1 million annually, every month rather. Wow. Every month. And I was like, I don't understand. Why will you be paying $1 million every month? How much are you paying your staff? You know, but to the domestic users, the major, you are in the UK. You know how these things work. You tobacco wasting, no? Oh, tobacco waste, you will pay dearly for it. Yeah. You know, if we can learn to be prudent. The president said this recently. I'm not supporting it, but I think prudency needs to appear in every of our dealings as a Nigerian. We are used to like, you know, what is mentality? Somebody won't even spirit want to attack you in the middle of the night. I don't understand. You're wasting resources. You know, you know, all these things. You need to change the mentality. Every human being that knows where to bathe your body, if you want to take a bath now, you know where to touch. You don't need to spend 2 hours in the bedroom. You don't need to spend 1 hour. Have your bath and leave. No, it's funny, but we need to take all these things into cognizance. These things are sacrosanct. We just need to discuss. We need to talk about them. Now we are talking about about the week now. The issue of telecom VAT resurfaced, and the government is trying. The telecommunication companies are insisting that they want to increase by 100%. The federal government is negotiating for 60%, whether 50%, whether 100%, whether 5 or 1%. It's still an increase. Now, how do you expect that at the end of the day, you know, it won't fall back on us? I don't know if you understand, friends. It will definitely fall back on us. But when you are on social media, watching what is not your business, you are sending me one BC of one fish that they saw in river that they wrote one story. What is my own? Why are you not sending me, you know, important messages? All we need to do at the moment is to manage our life.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Whether we like it or not.
Man,
and we need to start. I'm not saying we should be spiritual, but I'm not saying it to be too spiritual. But we need to start praying. Yeah. Change needs to come. Things need to come. And I think this government have a lot to offer. I'm not supporting them. But whatever the case may be, as a Nigerian, we also need to be careful, and we need to know what we're doing. We need to support one another. We need to be, we don't need to be greedy. I don't say because one kind of show one lot doing. We need to be, this was not how we started. This was not how we started as Nigerians. Nigerians need to be supportive. We assist one another. Growing up, there was nothing like bottled water. There was nothing like pure water. I can go to anybody's house to eat. I can go to anybody's house to drink water, even though we are not trained that way, but we are so free.
Can't go to anybody's house,
you know,
to eat now.
But now don't try it. You know, we are so spiritual. Let me shock you. Last week, somebody was telling me, I don't understand. What do you mean by Ogundile? He said, in January, Europe, and I was like, why? You are just wasting your time. Because whether you like it or not, the federal government have used all tactics to mop up cash in December. And no company is giving money because they are closing their budget for the year. You know, they're just trying to come up now. So you may not get money. There's no spiritual problem anywhere because we are easily to attach all of our problems spiritually. So we just need to change our mentality. If we want our country to be like the UK, the US, the Canada that we always sing and brag about because we are too quick to just juxtaposition and can't they see UK, can't they see Canada? Okay, we need to do the right thing, not the government alone. It's our fault. We are Nigerians, and Nigerians made Nigeria. That's just it. Thank you
very, very much. I appreciate that. And well, I find this very interesting. The comment section has been buzzing since. People have said, oh, this is very interesting and intelligent conversation you guys had so far. Someone also said that the fact that they all had different opinions and they were able to intelligently present their opinions, you know, made this session very rich. I really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much. You are the last man standing, so I'll just chip in my few submission, and I will subscribe to what is called the middle class, that we should as a government, we should try as much as possible. Government should look into partnership and supervising some of these policies for implementation. Partnership in the sense that you can partner with some NGOs. You cannot do the development job alone. These are people that are patriotic about their land. So you should go in support with them to work hand in glove with citizens in order to make the country great, and supervising as well that your policies are being implemented, followed through. You know, later. And we talk about the free market system. This is not the point where I will elaborate on that, but there is a clause in every loan debt that is being held by the country that exposes us to this free market, which is dead on arrival on its own. Maybe on another session, I would elaborate that further. But when we talk about the civil workers, we need to understand that the civil workers are the ones that are driving the economy. And we need to treat these civil workers. I don't call them civil servants. I like to use the word civil workers. We need to treat them right. And this is where you have to make sure that they have access to the basic things like health, housing, subsidize things for them. And you will see that these people are the ones that actually take, they're like your middlemen, take money and make the cash flow, make the money go around in the country and all. The middle working class, the civil workers are the ones who drive the economy. So the government should look into that and make sure that they prioritize their welfare. Thank you very much, you guys. Street and Cathedral, we just treated one of the deepest topics so far. Next week, meet me for another interesting session. And I want to say thank you guys once again. Till next week that we meet. I'm still your host, Dimeji Shodeke. Thank you very much.